Hi, I'm Paige Buckingham. I'm going to talk about partner assisted scanning, specifically on using the Smart Partner operating system to teach scanning. Scanning is a skill that is very difficult, and it is one that you really do have to teach for the individual to be able to learn it and use it effectively. We can't just put an individual on a system with scanning and expect it to work. So, when we are teaching this, what we really want to do is use a system or use a strategy called the Smart Partner Operating System. And what this means is there's going to be an individual that is the communicator, the person using the device or using the book, and there is going to be a communication partner, and we are considered the human partners. And what happens with this is, as a human partner, I can observe and I can do some problem solving. I can interpret the body language of the individual. I can see if they turn their head away to mean no. I can see if they smile. I can see if they make eye contact. I can see if they're fidgeting. I can read and interpret the body language that's going on, and I can give additional wait time. Often, when somebody is using a system, a scanning system, and specifically partner assisted scanning, that individual may have a body that is very complex and takes additional time for the muscles to fire and work in the way that they want them to. Sometimes it may be the end of a day when they're more tired, that they've had more things going on, and so it just takes a little bit longer. So if you have a wait time set at a specific time frame, so from scanning from one item to another being 3 seconds, and that individual takes a little bit longer at that moment, the system is not going to be able to interpret that. But as a human partner, I'm going to be able to interpret that. I'm going to watch and go, oh, I think that they are needing a little bit additional wait time. So we can give that additional wait time. It allows us to also give extra processing time and some extra processing clues. If I am using a communication system and I'm scanning something and I hold it up and I said, do you want no or yes? I am holding my finger above to confirm the selection. If the individual makes a selection, makes a movement, uses a switch, whatever we're doing for that yes or that picking of an item, then I can say, oh, you said no. And I can hold my finger over it. And also, then that item stays and does not just disappear. We also are supporting the idea of human interaction. And what that means is communication is more than just me. It is more than just me with my own thoughts. It's me interacting with another person. That really, I need to have a communication exchange with somebody in order for it to be a real communication interaction. And that usually happens between two or more people instead of just an individual with a device. So that's the Smart Partner operating system. So again, what that is two people, one person who's the communicator and one person who's the human partner or working with the individual. And those people are using a system called the Smart Partner operating system. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a minute after we talk about partner assisted scanning. But partner assisted scanning, what we do is we use that Smart Partner operating system. We're going to give an overview of options that the person has to select from. And the reason we want to do this is one of the important things about partner assisted scanning or any type of auditory scanning is having consistency in choices, that the individual knows what choices they're going to be given, exactly the order they're going to be given. And the example I use is if somebody walked in right now and said to me, hey, do you want something to drink? Do you want some water? And that's the only choice I get, I might say, yeah, I want some water. When in reality, maybe I want coffee, but I didn't know it was a choice. But if you came in and said, hey, do you want something to drink? We have coffee, water, or tea. And then I say, oh, yeah, I want coffee because I didn't want those other two choices. Or maybe I'm given those three choices and I don't want any of them. So I might say, no, I'm good. But if I don't know what my choices are and how which options I have, it's going to be harder for me to make a selection. So when we're using partner assisted scanning, this is what it looks like. I'm going to use a book that is by Project Core. It is one of my favorite auditory scanning books, and I'll explain why. Well, first of all, it's because it gives a robust vocabulary and it gives a variety of variety of language functions. We're not just asking what is your favorite, which one do you want, but we're doing things like once, we're doing feelings or help, we're doing comments. I love doing comments, and kids always love going to comments. So when we are using the Smart Partner system, what we want to do is give an overview of options without any pauses. So what that would look like if I am selecting, the individual is selecting comments, I first would say, oh, do we, here's our choices: want, feel, comment, tell, question. So what that does is the individual knows, here's my 5 choices. Then we're going to go back so they can make a selection. And we're going to put pausing in between that based on the individual's need for the length of time. So if I was using this with an individual who they were wanting to tell me something, maybe they're wanting to make a comment about something they liked, or I'm wanting to model it, let me show it to you as a model. I might say, I think that it is a really nice day outside. It is beautiful. I know beautiful is a comment. So let's find beautiful. Want, help, comment, tell, question. Want, no. Tell or feel, no. Comment, yes, it is a comment. Surprise, positive, curious, negative. Is it a surprise comment? No. A positive comment? Beautiful. Yes. Awesome. Beautiful. That's my favorite. Fun. Yummy. Awesome. No. Beautiful. Yes. It's a beautiful day outside. So what I did is I gave the options without any pauses. We went back to make a selection. I pointed to the icon. I said the name of what it represents, and I gave the pause. I gave the pause for the length of time that the individual would need it. They may need a 2-second pause. They may need a 1-second pause. They may need a 12-second pause. That's where you're going to do this, and you're really going to interpret what the individual is doing to make a yes response. If the response has no response, we're going to take that as a no, and I'm going to say no. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to teach the individual that if they don't want something, they make no response. If they indicate yes, maybe they smile, maybe they raise their arm, maybe they say yes, then I'm going to acknowledge that. Again, if it's a no, then you're going to move to the next item with the same procedure. And if a yes, you're going to point to what that indicates. So why do we do partner assisted scanning? Well, the long-term goal is that the individual will learn auditory scanning on their own and then be able to do this with a system. If I know that the individual needs a 7-second pause and that 10 seconds is too much, but 5 seconds is too short, I can set up a system with a 7-second pause. If we have done this enough, if we have practiced it enough, I'm using it as a receptive tool, and the individual is starting to use it as an expressive tool with me, then we can look at doing a system. We can do a system that automatically scans for the individual, and then if they don't select anything, it goes to the next item. You could also do a 2-step scanning, where instead of saying no, they're selecting maybe no, 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 yes, with a switch, which actually goes a little bit faster. You may even do a combination of auditory scanning on a system and direct selection. So there's lots of different ways you can do it, and different ways that partner assisted scanning can morph into using a dynamic system with auditory scanning, could move into a more robust partner assisted scanning system, because maybe that is what this individual is always going to need, because they are always going to need somebody to be able to read exactly what they're doing and how they are reacting, and maybe automatic system is never going to quite be able to meet that need of theirs. So there's lots of different choices and different options once somebody has learned scanning. I wanted to give this to you as just an overview of what partner-assisted scanning is. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be more than happy to chat with you. Thank you.